Week one of the White House Obamacare media blitz, it does continue. And today, President Obama will focus his message on the laws and the benefits for people with pre-existing medical conditions. This is the White House announces some 56,000 people and their successful enrollment in coverage through federal exchanges the first 3 days of December. Now, that's more than double the enrollees for the entire month of October. And all of this as the administration ramps up to December the 23rd, that enrollment deadline for January the 1st coverage. Joining me now, Democratic Congressman from Washington State, Jim McDermott, a senior member of the House Ways and Means Committee. Sir, it's good to have you here. And as we look back at the calendar, it was 3 weeks ago where the White House assembled this team, the Senate and House strike teams. So what exactly is their task versus the daily barrage of messages that we're going to see on tap from the White House? Can you explain the difference?
It looks to me like it's all one plan because you really have to keep pushing and letting people know and try and build momentum in the public. The real problem here is public education. If you have not had health insurance before, you don't know how it works, you've never applied for it, you've never done anything, you really need to be educated. And there's a whole lot of people out there who have not had health insurance before or how to use it. There are a lot of people who don't have computers. There are a lot of people who aren't watching television about this sort of thing. So you've got a real public education problem that goes with any major social change like this. It was no different for Social Security or for Medicare or for the drug benefit under Medicare. There's always a lot of education that has to be done.
All right, but we know that there's a renewed sense of confidence, certainly coming from the White House, certainly coming from Democrats who have been anxious about this. And I know that as of Tuesday in your state, more than 175,000 residents have enrolled in health care coverage since October the 1st. And we see since November the 14th, enrollments have increased by nearly 55%. So in your opening remarks, though, from yesterday's committee hearing about ACA implementation, you related a story of a constituent who called your office. They were irate that their insurance company had canceled their plan, offered a new one. It was double the cost. And then the next day, that same person called you back. He went on the exchange, found a better plan with his old insurance company for less than he was paying before. So have these success stories gotten lost in the dynamic of that it's easier to cover the negativity than it is to cover the positivity?
I think there isn't anything that goes on in society that you can't go out and find 100 people who are against it. And unfortunately, a lot of the press is focused on the negative side. Good news is not the kind of stuff you put on the evening news. You put on fires and rapes and murders and buildings falling down and avalanches. You don't put the good stories out there. And I think there are an awful lot of them. What really is required here is patience. People have to gradually figure out what's a good thing for them, go out and find out where it is. It's now possible to do it. Some states who have their own state exchanges are better prepared than the states that have waited for the federal government. But it's even possible on the federal website now to do it. I did it myself.
Access is getting better, certainly through the federal. And as you point out, statewide initiatives, certainly for states that have had the exchanges up and running, we hear a lot of talk about Connect in Kentucky. And I'm going to have the Kentucky Governor, Steve Beshear, later in the show to talk about the success that they've seen, remarkable success in signups there in Kentucky. But when you look at all the other states that have opted not to open their own state exchange and the ones that have opted to not expand Medicaid, do you think the Republicans, sir, they're going to regret that decision in 2014?
Absolutely. You see, what's going to happen is that people in Tennessee and the states around Kentucky are going to meet their friends from Kentucky, are going to tell them how great it is in Kentucky. We now have health insurance. And the people in these other states are going to say, why don't we have that in our state? What's wrong with our governor? What's wrong with our legislature? What's wrong with our congressman? He's been telling us don't sign up for this thing. What's going on here? That's going to begin to turn and bite those people who have been opposing it all this time, because Americans want security around their health insurance. And this is offered to them, and they are being given a propaganda barrage that really drives them away from it right now, but it's going to come back. It's like the tide goes out, the tide's coming back. The tide's coming back.
Sir, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.